Family forgot my birthday for the 5th year in a row. So yesterday at Golden Sister's big party I did this and they will never forget, and today my phone is ringing off the hook. For 5 years, my birthday came and went like clockwork, but for my family, it was just another day. No phone calls, no texts, no cake, no happy birthday posts on Facebook. Nothing. I don't think they ever forgot. It was more deliberate than that, a quiet decision to erase me from their lives. It all started when my sister Lily's life fell apart. Her husband left her when their second child was just a baby, and she spiraled downward. She leaned heavily on her family, especially me. I don't blame her for needing help. I mean, what sibling wouldn't want to step in? I babysat the kids whenever I could, helped her clean up the mess her husband left behind, and tried to support her emotionally. But one night, just when I thought I was doing enough, she made it clear that I wasn't. She showed up at my apartment, frustrated and broke, and said, "What good is babysitting if you don't give them money, huh, brother?" That was her way of asking for money, but it felt more like an accusation. I told her no. I couldn't keep giving out money. I was working hard just to get by, trying to build some kind of future. She didn't take it well, and the next day my parents called me selfish, ungrateful, and unworthy of the family name. They backed her up completely because that's what they always did. Lily could burn the house down, and they'd find a way to blame the matches. From that point on, I was on the outside. My parents stopped calling. My sister only reached out when she needed something, and when I didn't deliver, she went quiet too. For 5 years they didn't celebrate any of my birthdays. Not a card. Not a text. Meanwhile, Lily threw these over-the-top parties for herself every year, making sure the whole family was there. The last one I went to was 2 years ago. I should have known better than to show up, but a small part of me hoped it would be different this time. It wasn't. She'd invited her friends, people I barely knew, and they spent most of the night taking thinly veiled shots at me. "Still single, huh? Guess you're the career type," one of them said, laughing. Another chimed in. "Renting is smart, I guess, for now." Lily just grinned. I left early that night, feeling like a total loser. I promised myself I'd never go to one of their parties again. They didn't care about me. I was just there to fill a seat and be the family's punching bag. But yesterday was different. Yesterday, I walked into Lily's big Golden Sister 30th birthday party with a secret that none of them saw coming. When Lily's invitation arrived a month ago, I almost threw it in the trash without opening it. I told myself after the last party that I was done with her and the rest of the family. But curiosity got the better of me and I opened the gold-trimmed envelope. Inside was a handwritten note dripping with fake enthusiasm. "Hi bro. I'm throwing a huge party for my 30th birthday. It's gonna be the event of the year. You have to come. Family's important, right? Love, Lily." I knew exactly what that was. Lily didn't want me there because she missed me or wanted to make amends. She just needed a larger audience. She probably told her friends some new, exaggerated story about my failure, and couldn't resist the opportunity to parade me around for laughs. At first I wanted to ignore it. What was the point? But something had changed in my life recently, something Lily and the rest of my family didn't know about. My grandfather, the one person in my family who'd stood by me through everything, had died 6 months earlier. He and I were closer than I ever was with my parents or Lily. He wasn't perfect, he had his problems, and he never got along with my parents or my sister. I never knew the full story of their falling out, but it was bad enough that they didn't even go to his funeral. Before he died, he told me something that left me speechless. While everyone else in the family had written him off, he'd been quietly saving for decades. He wanted to leave something for someone he trusted. And that someone was me. He gave me $250,000. Not in a will or anything formal, he'd given it to me directly, saying he didn't want any fights when he died. "You've been good to me," he said. "Use this to build the life you want. Don't tell them. They'll just ruin it." At first I didn't believe him. I thought there must be some catch, some mistake. But the money was real, and it was in my account. It felt surreal. For the first time in years, I had a real chance at stability. I could stop renting, buy a house, and start over. When Lily's invitation came, I saw it differently. It wasn't just another party. It was an opportunity. I wasn't the same guy they'd mocked 2 years ago. This time, I had something they weren't expecting. I said yes and spent the next few weeks planning exactly how I was going to handle it. This wasn't going to be another night where I sat in the corner and took their jabs. This time I was going in with my head held high, and they weren't ready for it. The party was yesterday, and let me tell you, it went even better than I could have imagined. Lily's party was extravagant, just as I'd expected. She'd rented a trendy downtown rooftop venue, complete with a live band, catered food, and gold decorations that screamed, "Look at me!" She was nothing if not consistent in her love of attention. When I walked in, heads turned. It wasn't because I looked particularly sharp, although I had made an effort. No, it was because I was there. I hadn't been to a family event in 2 years, and my presence clearly took them by surprise. Lily, standing near the bar with a glass of champagne, did a double take when she saw me. Well, look who decided to show up," she said loudly, attracting the attention of everyone nearby. She gave me a tight, fake smile. "Didn't think you'd make it, little brother. Finally come out of your little hole?" I smiled back, calm as ever. Wouldn't miss the big night. The room was buzzing with her friends, many of whom I recognized from past parties. My parents were there, too, seated at a table like royalty, nodding at guests who stopped by to fawn over them. It was the usual dynamic: Lily playing the star, my parents basking in the reflected glory, and everyone else circling around them. But this time I wasn't just another satellite. As the night wore on, I stayed quiet, biding my time. I chatted casually with some of Lily's friends, who were getting a little tipsy. One of them asked, "So, what have you been up to? Still working that office job?" I smiled. "Actually, I've made some big changes. Things are going really well." That got her attention. Lily overheard and came over, curious. "Big changes? What, did you finally get a new couch?" She laughed, and her friends joined in. I decided it was time. "Actually," I said, raising my voice just enough for the nearby tables to hear, "I just put an offer on a house." The laughter stopped. Lily blinked. "A house?" "Yeah," I said casually. "A nice one. It's got a big yard, lots of space, and no landlords to deal with. I'm moving out of the apartment next month." The look on her face was priceless. She hadn't expected this. "Wait, how can you afford a house?" she asked, her tone sharp. And that's when I dropped the bomb. Grandpa helped me. The room fell silent. My parents, who had been chatting with some guests, suddenly looked over. Lily stared at me, confused. "Grandpa? What do you mean?" I shrugged. "He left me some money before he died. He said he wanted me to have a fresh start. So I'm using it to buy a house." Well, here's where things got messy. Lily's face turned red. Wait. Grandpa gave you money? How much?" "Enough," I said. "That's not fair," she blurted out, loud enough for several people to turn and look. "He didn't leave us anything. Why would he give it to you?" Before I could answer, my mother stormed over. "What is this about money? Your grandfather never said a word about it." "He didn't want to," I said. "He told me he didn't trust you with it." That hit a nerve. My father chimed in now, his voice rising. "What did you say to him? Did you trick him into giving you money?" "No," I said firmly. "He gave it to me because he knew I'd put it to good use. He wanted me to have a chance at a better life. And frankly, after the way you all treated him, can you blame him?" This set off a firestorm. Lily started screaming about how unfair it was and demanded to know how much he'd given me. My mom was practically shaking, accusing me of keeping secrets. My dad looked like he was about to explode. But then Lily hit me with the real kicker. "If you buy a house, you can let us live with you." she said, like it was the most obvious solution in the world. Me and the kids, we could move in, and you could help us get back on our feet. That's what family does. I laughed. I couldn't help it. No, Lily. That's not going to happen. She looked stunned. What do you mean, no? You have all this money now, and you're just going to let us struggle? Exactly, I said. Because that's all you've done for me these past few years. Struggle on your own. I'm finally doing well, and I'm not going to let you drag me down again. My father lost it. Get out, he yelled. If you're not going to help this family, you don't deserve to be here. I didn't argue. I grabbed my coat and left, but not before turning to Lily one last time. You're going to remember this birthday for a long time, aren't you? When I got home, my phone began to explode with calls and texts. They weren't apologies, of course. Just more screaming, more accusations, more guilt. I ignored every one of them. But here's the kicker, the night didn't end there. This morning, something completely unexpected happened. This morning I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing nonstop. Calls, texts, voicemails, it was relentless. I was expecting more guilt from my family, but when I glanced at the notifications, I saw something that stopped me in my tracks. Lily had posted about the party on social media. She wasn't being subtle either. Last night was supposed to be about celebrating my 30th birthday, but my selfish brother decided to ruin it by bragging about how he stole Grandpa's money and refused to help his family. Some people don't know the meaning of family. The comments came fast. Her friends, of course, chimed in with things like, "What a jerk," and "How could he do that to you?" But then something unexpected happened. A few people who knew my grandfather, people who'd been around the family for years, also started commenting. One of them wrote, "Didn't your grandfather cut you and your parents off for a reason? Maybe you should think about why he gave the money to your brother instead of one of you." Another chimed in, "Wasn't there a whole thing years ago about how you and your parents treated him? Maybe he didn't trust you with his money." I couldn't help but smile. Lily had opened a can of worms she clearly wasn't prepared to deal with. People started digging into old family drama, and I didn't have to say a word. Then came the first real twist of the day. Around noon, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I don't usually answer them, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hello? Is this Mark? I'm an attorney representing someone you might know." That's how I found out that my grandfather had left me something else, a letter, sealed and delivered by his lawyer months after his death. The lawyer apologized for the delay and explained that there had been some legal hurdles, but now the letter was ready for me to pick up. I drove to the office, my heart pounding the whole way. What could he have left for me that I didn't already know about? When I got there, the lawyer handed me an envelope, old and slightly yellowed. I opened it carefully, and inside was a handwritten note from Grandpa. "Mark, if you're reading this, it means you've probably faced some challenges with the family after I gave you the money. I hope you held up, because you earned every cent. But I wanted you to know something else, something that might make things a little easier for you to understand. Years ago, your parents and Lily did something that I could never forgive. They tried to have me declared mentally incompetent to take control of my finances. They wanted to put me in a home so they could access my savings. You were just a kid then, so I don't blame you for not knowing. But that's why I cut ties with them. You were always different, Mark. You visited me when no one else would. You listened to my stories, helped me with errands, and treated me like a person. That's why I trusted you. And now I trust you to use what I've given you wisely. Don't let them take anything else from you. With love, Grandpa." I sat there staring at the letter, stunned. It all made sense now, the icy tension between Grandpa and the rest of the family, the way they'd always acted like his money was rightfully theirs, and why he'd chosen me to carry on his legacy. When I got home, I saw that Lily's social media post had gone viral. Someone had posted a screenshot of the public court record showing the guardianship petition my parents and Lily had filed against Grandpa years ago. It was all out there now, and people weren't holding back in the comments. I thought that was the end of it, but then came the second twist. Around 5 p.m., there was a knock at my door. When I opened it, Lily was standing there, looking furious. But she wasn't alone, she had my parents with her. "We need to talk," she said, pushing past me into the apartment. I almost laughed at the audacity, but I stepped aside, curious to hear what they had to say. What they hit me with next was something I didn't see coming. "Grandpa's lawyer called us this afternoon," my father said, his tone tense. "Apparently there's more money." "What are you talking about?" I asked, genuinely confused. "Don't play dumb," Lily snapped. "The lawyer said there's a trust fund. Grandpa set it up years ago and the money is still there. It's not part of what he gave you, but we're all named in it. All 6 of us." This was news to me. I hadn't heard anything about a trust fund, but if Grandpa had set it up for all of us, it meant there was more at stake than I realized. "We have to figure out how to divide it up," my mother said. "And we're not going to let you take control of it like you did with the other money." I leaned against the door with my arms crossed. "If it's a trust fund, there's probably rules about how it's divided. You might want to talk to the lawyer about that." Lily's eyes narrowed. "You're not going to screw us out of this too, Mark? We're family." Then I decided to let her stew for a while. "We'll see," I said calmly, closing the door in their faces. Now I'm sitting here staring at Grandpa's letter, wondering what kind of storm is coming next. Whatever this trust fund is, it's about to throw another wrench into this already chaotic mess. And honestly, I'm ready for it. The next morning, I called Grandpa's attorney. I needed answers before my family dragged me into whatever mess they were planning. The lawyer, Mr. Carver, was calm and matter-of-fact, but what he told me blew my mind. The trust fund was real. Grandpa had set it up nearly 2 decades ago, and it was substantial, nearly $500,000. But there was a catch. The trust wasn't just sitting there waiting to be divided. Grandpa had attached conditions to it, and they were unconventional. "The trust is contingent on one specific condition being met," Mr. Carver explained. "The funds are only accessible if all the beneficiaries, your parents, your sister, and you agree to live together in the same house for 1 full year. No exceptions." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. He wanted us to live together? In the same house? For a year? "You've got to be kidding me." Mr. Carver chuckled. "Your grandfather had a sense of humor, I'll give him that. He said it was his way of forcing your family to come together. He told me, if they can't do it, they don't deserve the money." I could already imagine the chaos that would cause. There was no way my parents, Lily, and I could survive under the same roof for more than a week, let alone a year. Still, I thanked Mr. Carver for the information and hung up, knowing it was only a matter of time before my family tried to force me to go along with their plans. Sure enough, Lily showed up at my door that evening, dragging the kids behind her. She didn't bother with pleasantries. "Pack your things," she said. "We're all moving to Mom and Dad's house. Grandpa's trust fund isn't going to sit there while we fight about it." I stared at her like she'd lost her mind. "You can't be serious." "Dead serious," she snapped. "We need this money, and we're not going to let you ruin it for us." "Ruin it for you? Lily, have you thought this through? Do you really think we can all live together without killing each other?" She rolled her eyes. "It's $500,000, Mark. We'll figure it out." I laughed. "You mean you'll figure out how to make my life a living hell for a year while you sit back and wait for the money to roll in?" Just then, my parents pulled up in their car and marched up to my door. My dad wasted no time. "Mark, we need to talk. This trust fund is an opportunity for all of us, but we can't access it unless we work together. Grandpa set this up for the family, not just for you." "I understand that," I said. "But let's be real. Gramps knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't set this up to bring us together. He set it up because he knew we'd tear each other apart trying to get it." My mom looked upset, but my dad didn't back down. "You don't have a choice. If you don't agree, none of us will get the money." "Do you really want to be responsible for that?" Lily jumped in. And don't think you're special just because Grandpa gave you that other money. That trust fund isn't yours. It's all ours. I was about to tell them exactly where they could shove their trust fund when something completely unexpected happened. A car pulled up behind my parents, and out stepped a man I hadn't seen in over a decade. "Uncle Mike?" I blurted out, genuinely shocked. Mike was Grandpa's estranged son, my dad's older brother. He'd been out of the picture for as long as I could remember. According to family lore, he'd had a big fight with Grandpa over money and left town, never to be heard from again. "What are you doing here?" my father asked, his tone sharp. Mike ignored him and walked over to me, holding out his hand. "Mark, heard you're stirring up the family. Good for you." I shook his hand, still trying to process his sudden appearance. "How did you even know about that?" He grinned. "I have my ways. Besides, I figured the old man might have left something worth fighting over." "Looks like I was right." Lily crossed her arms. "You're not even a part of this. The trust doesn't include you." "Maybe not," Mike said. "But I've got something that does." He pulled a folded piece of paper out of his pocket and handed it to me. It was another letter from Grandpa, addressed to both of us. "Why didn't the lawyer give this to me?" I asked, confused. "Because Grandpa left it with me," Mike said. "He told me to hold on to it until the family fought over the trust fund. Looks like that didn't take long." I unfolded the letter, my heart pounding, and began to read. "Mark and Mike, if you're reading this, it means my little trust fund plan worked. The family is probably in chaos right now, and I'm sure it's entertaining as hell. But there's something else you need to know. The trust fund isn't the only thing I left behind. I set up a second account in Mike's name. He's been watching it for me, and it's for you, Mark. It's not a huge amount, just enough to give you a little extra cushion. As for the trust fund, I suggest you sit back and let the others fight it out. They'll never last a year under one roof, but it'll be fun to watch them try. Love, Grandpa." When I looked up, Mike was grinning. "You got a smart old man there, Mark. Looks like we've got some catching up to do." Lily and my parents were furious, but I didn't care. Grandpa had played his last hand, and it was brilliant. I had a feeling this was just the beginning of the mayhem. After that trust fund mess, I decided I was done. Completely. I walked away from my family, signed a statement with Grandpa's lawyer to remove myself from the trust fund, and block their numbers. They could fight over his terms and tear each other apart. I wasn't going to stick around for that. With the money Grandpa left me, I closed on a house in a quiet neighborhood a few months later. It was everything I'd wanted: peaceful, private, and mine. Mike, Grandpa's other surprise ally, helped me settle in. He even built a deck in the backyard with me, something simple but meaningful, a little piece of Grandpa's legacy. My parents and Lily tried to make the trust fund work, but it quickly fell apart. Lily and her children moved into my parents' house, and within months they were at each other's throats. She left, they blamed each other, and from what I heard through Mike, the money is still locked up. Meanwhile, my life finally began. I started a consulting business I'd been dreaming about for years, adopted a golden retriever named Max, and spent my days building something for myself. Cutting ties with my family wasn't easy, but it was the right thing to do. Grandpa's real gift wasn't money, it was showing me how to step out of their shadow and live for myself. Now, some evenings, I sit on this deck, watch Max play in the yard, and think about how far I've come. I can almost hear Grandpa laughing, knowing he's finally given me the push I needed. And for the first time, I feel at peace.